Welcome to our channel Movie Creepers. Today, we're diving into the terrifying world of A Quiet Place Day 1. This prequel takes us back to the very first day the aliens invaded Earth, when panic and chaos erupted across the globe. Join us as we follow Samira, a terminally ill cancer patient, as she fights for survival in the heart of New York City. Witness the terrifying silence that descends upon the world and the desperate measures people take to stay alive. Are you ready to experience the chilling beginning of the end? Before we jump into the exploration, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss out on future videos. Thank you. Let's begin. A Quiet Place Day 1 2024 movie explored. Sam, a terminally ill cancer patient, has long accepted that her days are numbered. She spends most of her time in the quiet solace of a hospice outside New York City, her only company being Frodo, her loyal cat. Sam is not one for optimism. Her condition has made her world small, leaving her with little desire to venture out. But Ruben, her compassionate and persistent nurse, insists she join a group outing to Manhattan to see a marionette show. Reluctantly, Sam agrees, though not without her signature dry wit and biting reluctance. As they arrive in the bustling heart of the city, Sam is overwhelmed by the noise and vibrancy, a stark contrast to the stillness of her hospice life. She is lost in thought when something strange happens. Meteor-like objects streak across the sky, drawing the crowd's attention. Without warning, chaos erupts as monstrous creatures descend upon the streets, attacking anything that makes noise. Panic spreads like wildfire, screams ringing out, and an ambulance siren becomes a death sentence when a creature collides with it, triggering a massive explosion that knocks Sam unconscious. Struggle for survival. When Sam wakes up, she finds herself in the dark, inside the puppet theater with a group of survivors, including Frodo, who has stayed by her side. Among them is Henri, a quiet and level-headed man, who signals to her that silence is their only protection. The military broadcasts warnings from helicopters overhead, urging people to stay hidden and absolutely quiet until rescue can arrive. But soon, the grim reality sets in. Manhattan is being sealed off. Sam watches in horror as fighter jets destroy the bridges connecting the island to the mainland, trapping both the creatures and the survivors. Tensions rise among the group. One of the survivors, overwhelmed by fear, begins to panic, threatening to attract the creatures. In a desperate attempt to keep him silent, Henri accidentally kills him, the weight of the act bearing heavily on the group as the brutal stakes become even clearer. Tragedy in the night. As night falls, Manhattan plunges into darkness as the power grid fails. The theater's emergency generator kicks in with a loud hum, making everyone's heart race. Ruben, trying to stop the noise, manages to switch it off, but in the process, his shirt tears, a sound too small for the human ear but not for the creatures. One of them bursts into the theater, and before anyone can react, Ruben is gone, killed by the beast. The loss leaves Sam devastated, but with Frodo in tow, she resolves to leave the building and head for Harlem, where she hopes to find a safer place. Chaos in the streets. The military soon announces an evacuation point at South Street Seaport, where boats will ferry survivors away. It's the first glimmer of hope, as the creatures are unable to swim. However, as large crowds of desperate survivors make their way to the port, their combined movements alert the creatures. A stampede erupts, bodies colliding as the creatures pounce, reducing the streets to a slaughterhouse. Sam, realizing the danger of sticking with the crowd, slips away, narrowly escaping, but loses Frodo in the chaos. A new companion. As she flees, Sam stumbles upon Eric, an English law student who has just crawled out of a flooded subway station. He finds Frodo and brings him back to Sam. Despite her initial coldness, Eric insists on helping her. Sam, still harboring doubts about survival, tries to convince Eric to head for the seaport, but he's too shaken to follow. Instead, the two return to Sam's apartment, where Eric learns about her love for poetry, a stark reminder of a life she once had, now long gone. The next morning, Sam decides to leave Harlem alone, resigned to her fate. But Eric, determined not to leave her, follows. Together, they encounter danger at every turn. One wrong step alerts the creatures, and they are forced to flee into the dark, flooded subway tunnels. Wading through the water, they wake one of the dormant creatures. A frantic chase ensues through the flooded station, but the creature drowns before reaching them, giving them a brief reprieve. A glimmer of humanity. Exhausted and cold, Sam and Eric take refuge in a ruined church. While Sam rests, Eric sneaks out to find pain medication for her, discovering Frodo trapped in a construction site. In doing so, he stumbles upon a horrifying scene: creatures feeding on the remains of an organic egg-like pod. He returns to Sam, rattled but determined to keep her safe. In an attempt to lift her spirits, Eric takes Sam to a jazz club in Harlem where her father used to perform, fulfilling a childhood wish of hers. They eat pizza, share stories, and for a moment, amidst the horror, they find comfort in each other's company. The final sacrifice. As dawn breaks, the pair sees boats loaded with survivors in the river, a fleeting hope for escape. But as they move towards the water, the creatures begin to gather along the shoreline. Realizing they need a distraction, Sam makes the ultimate decision. She gives Frodo and her sweater to Eric and runs off, smashing car windows as she goes. The alarms blare, drawing the creatures away from the water, giving Eric and Frodo the chance to escape. With Sam's sacrifice, they are pulled onto a boat by Henri, who had survived the earlier chaos. On the boat, Eric finds a note in Sam's jacket, a final message asking him to take care of Frodo and thanking him for reminding her what it meant to live, even in the face of death. Sam's final moments. As Sam walks through a deserted street, her body weakened but her spirit resolute, she plays Nina Simone's Feeling Good on her iPod. Accepting her fate, she lets the music fill the air, a defiant smile crossing her face as she unplugs her earphones. The sound echoes down the empty street, and a creature appears behind her. In her final moments, Sam stands tall, embracing the music, and the end with peace, knowing she has lived on her own terms. Thank you for following Sam's powerful journey in this apocalyptic world. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. Stay tuned for more thrilling narratives and insights.